Notre-Dame, Versailles, the British Museum, and a strange house in Barcelona. Once you know what to look for, these buildings are impossible to confuse. You do not need to memorize hundreds of dates to tell architectural styles apart. You will only need to ask a building 3 questions, and at the end, we will test this method on a building that fools almost everyone. Architectural styles are often taught as a long list: Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, Classicism, Art Nouveau, and Modernism. Remembering the names is manageable, but when you stand in front of a real building, they somehow all disappear from your mind. So let us begin not with dates, but with 3 simple questions. First, what is the building's overall shape? Is it tall, strictly symmetrical, made of simple blocks, or does it have a curved facade? Second, what are its details like? Are the arches pointed or rounded, the windows narrow or large, and the columns plain, ornate, or completely absent? Third, how much decoration is there? Is there almost none? Is it arranged in a strict order? Does it cover the entire facade, or does it imitate natural forms? That is enough to understand which architectural family a building belongs to. Let us begin with Gothic architecture. One of the main features of Gothic architecture is the pointed arch. It is an arch whose upper sides meet at a sharp point. Other features include tall walls, towers, spires, large stained glass windows, and many vertical lines. Gothic cathedrals were built higher and higher, with increasingly large windows, but their heavy stone vaults pushed the walls outward. To support that load, builders used pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and external supports called flying buttresses. This allowed them to make the walls lighter and fill them with large stained glass windows. Famous examples of Gothic architecture include Notre-Dame Cathedral in Paris, Cologne Cathedral, and Milan Cathedral. At Notre-Dame, you can clearly see pointed windows, round rose windows, and external flying buttresses. Cologne Cathedral has 2 tall towers and countless vertical lines. Milan Cathedral is covered with spires, statues, and intricate stone carvings. In all these buildings, look for pointed arches, height, stained glass, towers, and elaborate stone decoration. A single gargoyle does not automatically make a building Gothic. What matters is a combination of several features. Baroque architecture can be recognized by complex facades, curved lines, deep niches, sculptures, and abundant decoration. Parts of the building often project forward or recede into the facade. Columns may be arranged in pairs. One famous example is St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. In front of the basilica stand 2 semicircular colonnades designed by Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Another example is the Trevi Fountain in Rome. The fountain is integrated into the facade of a palace. Columns, niches, sculptures, projecting rocks, and water are all combined in a single composition. Versailles is also often associated with Baroque architecture, although the palace combines several styles. From the outside, you can see symmetry and classical order. Inside, there is gold, painted decoration, mirrors, sculptures, and lavish ornament. Baroque and Classicism both use symmetry, straight lines, and columns. But in Classicism, the facade remains restrained, while Baroque adds curves, niches, sculptures, and stucco decoration to the same basic structure. Classicism is based on the architecture of ancient Greece and Rome. Its main features are symmetry, straight lines, columns, triangular pediments, and repeating elements. A good example is the British Museum in London. The facade is symmetrical. A long row of Ionic columns stands in front of the entrance, with a triangular pediment above the central section. Ionic columns are easy to recognize by the scroll-shaped ornaments at the top. Corinthian columns are decorated with leaf forms. Doric columns usually look simpler and more solid. Similar features can be found in the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, the Pantheon in Paris, and the Church of La Madeleine, also in Paris. All these buildings have clear geometry, even rows of columns, and symmetrical compositions. Art Nouveau appeared at the end of the 19th century. Its main features are a symmetry, flowing lines, plant-inspired patterns, colorful ceramics, stained glass, and ornamental wrought iron. One of the most famous examples is Casa Batlló in Barcelona, redesigned by Antoni Gaudí. The building has a wave-like facade, unusually shaped windows, colorful mosaics, and rounded balconies. But it is important to remember that Gaudí's style was highly individual. Not every Art Nouveau building looks like Casa Batlló. More typical examples can be found in Brussels in the houses designed by Victor Horta. There, flowing lines appear in staircases, metal railings, stained glass, columns, and furniture. Another recognizable example is the Paris metro entrances designed by Hector Guimard. Their metal supports and curves resemble plant stems. Casa Milà in Barcelona and the Secession Building in Vienna also belong to Art Nouveau. However, the Viennese version is much stricter and more geometric than its French or Belgian counterparts. So the main clues are not just flowers and curls, but also asymmetry, flowing lines, unusually shaped windows, and a consistent design across every detail of the building. And here it is important not to confuse two similar names. Art Nouveau and Modernism are different movements. Modernism became widespread in the 20th century. Architects began rejecting columns, pediments, stucco, and other elements copied from earlier periods. Instead, they used simple geometric forms, reinforced concrete, steel, and large glass surfaces. One of the key examples is the Bauhaus Building in Dessau. It consists of several rectangular volumes. It has flat roofs, large windows, and a glass facade. There is no ornamental stucco or sculpture. Another example is Le Corbusier's Villa Savoy. Its white rectangular volume is raised above the ground on slender supports. Long, horizontal windows run across the facade. Mies van der Rohe's Barcelona pavilion is made from glass, steel, and stone planes. It also has no traditional decoration, and the interior is not divided by conventional heavy walls. The main features of modernism are simple volumes, flat roofs, horizontal windows, concrete, steel, glass, and the absence of historical ornament. But not every contemporary building is modernist. Modernism is a specific architectural movement of the 20th century. Now, for a quick test. Notre-Dame. What style is it? Pointed arches, stained glass, towers, and vertical lines. Gothic. The British Museum. Symmetry, Ionic columns and a triangular pediment. Neoclassicism. Casa Batlló. Asymmetry, flowing lines, mosaics, and unusually shaped windows. Catalan Art Nouveau. And now, the building from the beginning of the video that fools almost everyone. The Palace of Westminster is home to the British Parliament. It has towers, pointed windows, vertical lines, and intricate stone decoration. Based on these features, it belongs to the Gothic family. But construction of the present palace began in 1840, after a fire destroyed most of the old complex. Its style is Gothic, or more precisely, a later revival of Gothic architecture known as Gothic Revival. Architect Charles Barry developed the overall design, while Augustus Pugin helped create the Gothic details and interiors. The style was chosen deliberately so that the new building would harmonize with the surviving medieval structures and evoke British history. This is why an architectural style does not always reveal a building's true age. A Gothic cathedral and a Gothic Revival palace may have similar arches, towers, and decorative elements, even though they were built in different periods. The next time you stand in front of an unfamiliar building, begin by looking at its overall shape. Then find its arches, windows, and columns. Finally, examine the decoration. Is there almost none? Is it arranged symmetrically? Does it cover the whole facade or imitate natural forms? These 3 questions will not turn you into an architectural historian, but they will help you distinguish Gothic from Baroque, Classicism from Art Nouveau, and Art Nouveau from Modernism. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us enormously as we continue to grow and make new videos.